Hello everyone, welcome back. Uh, in this lesson, we are going to install and set up Karate and also run the basic example that comes pre-built. To start with, head over to the official website and the official documentation of Karate, that is karatelabs.github.io, and head over to getting started section. You can see they have mentioned the prerequisites. For installing Karate, you need at least Java 8 and either Maven or Gradle, you know, two of the popular project management or dependency management systems in Java, and an IDE of your choice. And they have also listed how to get started quickly, how to create the Maven project if you are using Maven, and, uh, uh, and alternatives for Gradle as well. In this tutorial, we are going to use Maven. So let's get started. Uh, as mentioned in the prerequisites, we will need three things. A Java, and we'll install the latest Java available, which is 18.0.2 at this moment. And we are going to install Maven version 3.8.6. And then we're going to use Visual Studio Code as our IDE throughout the series. And on top of it, I'll also add Git because this is a very fresh VM that I just created. It does not have anything. And this, of course, is not needed for Karate, but you want to version control your project. So you'd want to install Git. All right. Before we start, let me quickly show that I don't have Java installed on this machine, and we are going to start afresh. All right. So I have already downloaded all these components. Let me show it to you. So I have JDK downloaded, Apache, Git, as well as Visual Studio. And let me start by installing JDK. All right, I'll do next. And it says I don't want to do access tutorials. Let me close. Hopefully it should be installed. Let's go to C drive, program files, Java, and you can see it has been installed. One other thing you would want to do, and we can do it together after Maven is installed. Let me first go and install Maven. The way you install Maven is you just uh, extract the zip file, and that is it. All you need to do is update the bin path in the path environment variable, and we'll do that soon enough. And before that, let me just go ahead and install Visual Code, accept, and all right, I think it's installed now. And the last thing you'd want to do is install Git. Yeah, you should, the recommended setting should be good enough. All right. I think this is good. I don't want to read any notes, and I'm done. So before we launch uh, a Maven project for Karate, one last thing we need to do is add our Java and Maven into the environment variable. Let me go to path, or even before path, let me just add Java home. And this is something you do if you have done programming with Java, you are aware of this. you always want to point Java home to the directory of your JDK installation, which is JDK 18.0.2 in our case. I'll set that to Java home and say yes. And then I'll go and update the Java home path inside the Java home variable inside our path environment variable. And what we also want to do is update the bin folder path of where you have extracted the Apache Maven zip, right? So basically, this MVN executable is available in the path environment variable. So uh, let us go here, just put this in, and that's it. Kill this command prompt, start a new one, and let's do Java minus minus version, and there you have it. You have Java 18.0.2 version installed, and let's also check if MVN is installed. You can see the MVN returns, of course, it returns an error, and we'll see how to create a project using Maven now. All right, and let me also restart. Okay, let me also create a folder inside C. Let us organize our folder structure. Let's keep all our projects inside a projects folder. We open a terminal again, and you can see the Git has also been installed now. And I'd use the Git terminal from inside the Visual Studio. Let me go to projects. Let me open Visual Studio Code. Yes, I trust the authors. And you see your inside projects folder, and there's nothing in there yet. We'll also check if and you can see a git bash terminal is also available because we just installed uh, Git for Windows. All right, now that we have all the prerequisites installed on our machine, let's head back to the uh, documentation. And there are a lot of ways you can do this. One of the easiest ways is you create the Maven project using this command, and that is what we are going to use. Let's use Notepad++. So it uses the pre-built archetype, karate archetype, to create this Maven project. We are going to give this most of the stuff as is, and right, all we are going to change is the artifact ID and the group ID. So group ID, it says is com.mycompany. Let's say this is let's say karate, and then artifact ID could be, let's say, learn karate, right? So what this will do is create a Maven project as per karate archetype. And if I go in here, I want the project to be created inside projects folder. So I am inside projects folder. I paste this and I just create this Maven project. So it will download all the dependencies that it needs as part of that project. And pretty soon you'll see a Maven project down there. You could create a Maven project through your IDs. Most of the IDs have support for creating them. That's also fine. But I find this to be the quickest way. So I'll just say it's a 1.0 point snapshot as the version. That's fine with me. Say yes, and now we are done. And you can see on the left hand side, a structure has been created. We'll go into deep into what the structure means in later videos. But for now, you can see we have karate set up on our system already. And to test that it really works, let's just go, let's be inside the folder where the pom.xml exists, which is inside learn karate folder. So let's go inside learn karate. And because this is an MVN project, let's just say ambient test minus d test equal to I think it is examples.test file. Just run this to make sure that our setup was all right. Now it will download all the plugins uh, that are needed to run this project as mentioned in this POM file. Uh, we will go through the details in uh, upcoming videos. But for now, our intent is just to verify that our setup has been proper and Karates has been installed properly. So after downloading, it will start running the tests which are inside uh, this users folder, and might take time. The first time you run it, uh, you know, you'll have to download it the first time. I think now it has started running the tests, and you see some of the HTTP requests and response that are going on, and you can see it ran two tests and both the tests passed. So looks like we have set up our Karate on our system and we are good to go. One last thing that we'll do is push this project onto GitHub. For that, we'll need to initialize this project as a Git repository and then push it to GitHub. So we already have Git installed. So all we need to do now is do git init into the project folder, which means learn karate will now be a Git project. So it will be version control. Next, we want to do git add dot, which means track all these files. And then, well, before that, I don't want the files which are there inside target to be tracked as part of my git. For that, what I will do is at the learn karate level, I'll create .git node file, and I'll say anything inside target, not something I want to track, and we should be good now. So all rest of the stuff that you can see here, I want to track all of them inside git. So I say git add dot, then I say git nsm, give my commit message. Let's say this is first commit, and that is it. All right. Okay, because this is a fresh system, I will need to set up my user email and name. Say at yahoo.com. I don't think this needs to be your active email or something. So you can put anything. And so now that this is done, let's run the command again. And it is through now. But this is still on your local system. You would want the code to be pushed to the remote GitHub repository. To do that, sign into your GitHub account, and let's say I'll start with a new repository for this project. I'll give it the same name, which is Learn Karate. If this is a public, I'll because I'm going to be pushing files from my local Git, I'll ignore README and Git ignore and everything. I'll just say create repository. And here you can see that it'll give you a list of commands to push your code. We have already done a bunch of this thing. All we need to do now is in our local system, provide the remote origin address, uh, and that is it. And finally, you just run git push origin. I need to check if it is main or master. In my case, it is master. So I'll just say push the commits from your local Git onto the remote GitHub repository that you just created. And let's see, What's happening? Okay, so because this is the first time, it is asking me to authenticate. I'll authenticate inside browser. So on the browser, because I was already inside GitHub repository, it has already authenticated and it has pushed the changes. Let's just quickly verify that my changes have gone in. If I go to Learn Karate, you can see all these files. So I've successfully pushed my project onto GitHub. All right, so we have installed Karate and we have pushed it. We have verified that it works and we have pushed it to GitHub. So we are all set to start our API testing. See you in the next lesson. Thank you.